We all know that AAA games are like the rich kids of the gaming world, flashy, expensive, and always showing off their fancy ray tracing. But today, we're talking about the underdogs. AA games are like that scrappy fighter in an anime. They don't have unlimited resources, but damn it, they've got heart, soul, and just enough jank to make things interesting. These are the games that take big swings, get weird, and sometimes slap harder than a Souls boss on a bad day. So today we're diving into 20 AA masterpieces every gamer must play. Imagine if Mirror's Edge, Doom, and Cyberpunk 2077 had a chaotic love child that was raised on caffeine and techno music. That's Ghost Runner 2. This game throws you into a neon-drenched dystopia where your main goal is simple: slice through enemies like a hot knife through butter while looking insanely cool. And if you don't, well, the game kills you instantly. No joke. This game has a one-hit kill mechanic, which means if your reflexes are slower than a grandma crossing the street, you're going to be seeing a lot of game over screens. But that's the beauty of it. Every time you fail, you learn. Every time you die, you respawn instantly and think, okay, maybe I shouldn't have tried to wall run straight into a hail of bullets. The feeling of pulling off the perfect sequence, dashing, parrying, wall running, slicing through an enemy, and then dodging incoming fire like you're in the Matrix is nothing short of euphoric. Oh, and did I mention you get to ride a freaking motorcycle in this game? Because why not? Ghost Runner 2 took everything from the first game and cranked it up to 11, making it one of the most adrenaline-pumping games you'll ever play. If you love speed, challenge, and looking like an absolute cyberpunk ninja god, Ghost Runner 2 is a must-play. Just don't blame me when you start seeing neon lights every time you close your eyes.
No.
What do you mean no? He's out of here. Gone.
I mean I'm going after him.
Well, then you better step on it. The hatch is closing, and we won't be able to open it anytime soon.
Zoe,
Yeah?
I won't be back today.
Have you ever wanted to step into the boots of a legendary gunslinger, take down outlaws, and look ridiculously cool doing it? Well, Call of Juarez Gunslinger is here to make that dream come true, except, let's just say the narrator has a very creative imagination. The entire game is told through the unreliable narration of Silas Greaves, a bounty hunter who's definitely exaggerating his stories.
Garrett and his army of deputies had surrounded the entire homestead. I decided to help Billy and the boys out a bit. So that's just what I did.
One moment, you're in a tense standoff, and the next, you're dodging bullets while enemies literally appear out of thin air because Silas forgot to mention that he was actually fighting an army. And the best part? The game lets you call him out on his BS. NPCs will constantly interrupt, questioning his ridiculous claims. Wait, you fought Billy the Kid and Jesse James on the same day? And Silas, without missing a beat, will go, oh, did I say that? I meant it happened at different times. Then, boom! The level rewinds and suddenly plays out differently. It's absolute madness, and it makes the game hilarious to experience. But don't let the humor fool you. Call of Juarez Gunslinger has some of the most satisfying first-person gunplay you'll ever experience. Bullet-time shootouts, stylish headshots, duels straight out of a Western movie. This game is an underrated gem. If you like cowboys, chaos, and comedy, you need to play this game. Just be ready for some tall tales.
Yeah, and just when I thought I was done with them, more of these hapless bastards would pop up. Finally, I had the stables within my reach.
Have you ever played Dark Souls and thought, you know what this needs? More crustaceans. Well, good news, you absolute lunatic. Another crab's treasure is here to fulfill your weirdest gaming wish. You play as Krill, a tiny hermit crab on a mission to reclaim his stolen shell. And how does he do that? By beating the absolute hell out of anything that gets in his way. This game is a full-fledged Souls-like, meaning every fight is a test of patience, skill, and screaming in frustration as a lobster obliterates you for the 10th time. But the twist? Instead of armor, you use trash. That's right, you'll be scouring the ocean floor for discarded soda cans, bottle caps, and literal forks to protect yourself. It's hilarious, but also surprisingly genius. Every shell you find gives you different abilities, so choosing between, say, a glass bottle that boosts defense or a tin can that lets you roll faster adds a layer of strategic absurdity. And let's not forget the boss fights. The ocean is a dangerous place, my friend. One minute you're chilling in a coral reef, the next a giant shrimp with a sword is trying to skewer you. This game does not hold your hand. You'll have to learn enemy patterns, parry attacks, and embrace the crustacean pain. It's silly, it's difficult, it's one of the most creative takes on the Souls-like formula in years. Play it and prepare to suffer, crab style. Alright, picture this. It's the Wild West, but instead of dealing with outlaws and tumbleweeds, you're punching vampires in the face with an electrified gauntlet. Welcome to Evil West, where subtlety is thrown out the window and pure chaos takes over. This game is what happens when you mix Red Dead Redemption with God of War and add a sprinkle of what the hell is going on. The combat is fast, brutal, and gloriously over the top. You're not just shooting enemies, you're electrocuting them, smashing them into the ground, and turning them into explosions of gore. It's the kind of game where you feel unstoppable. The enemies come at you in waves, and instead of taking cover, the game basically yells, "No, run at them and start punching." And let me tell you, it works. If you love mindless, high-energy action with a setting that's equal parts spooky and badass, Evil West is your game. Just be ready to power punch a few vampire cowboys along the way.
That hurt.
Ever wanted to star in your own kung fu movie? Well, Sifu lets you live that fantasy, but only if you're ready to suffer. This game is brutal. You play as a martial artist out for revenge, and every time you die, you age. Start at 20, die too much, suddenly you're a 65-year-old grandpa throwing punches with bad knees. But here's the thing, aging makes you stronger. You lose health but gain more powerful attacks, meaning you have to balance survival with becoming an unstoppable old man of doom. The fights are intense, the animations are insanely smooth, and every successful dodge makes you feel like a kung fu legend. If you love challenging games that make you feel like a martial arts god, after you get absolutely wrecked a few times, Sifu is a must-play. Alright, listen, if you've ever watched a horror movie and thought, "Pfft, I wouldn't be that dumb. I'd totally survive this," well, this game is here to prove you wrong. Still, Wakes the Deep traps you on an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, which is already nightmare fuel for anyone scared of drowning. But just to make things worse, there's something else on the rig, something not human. And guess what? You have no weapons. That's right, this isn't your typical horror game where you grab a shotgun and go full Doomslayer. Here, your only option is to run. The game forces you to squeeze through tight spaces, hide like a terrified child, and desperately hope that the thing breathing down your neck doesn't see you. The atmosphere? Pure dread. The sound design? Guaranteed to make you regret playing with headphones. The scares? So intense you might just uninstall the game out of self-preservation. If you love story-driven horror games that make you question your life choices, Still Wakes the Deep is a must-play. Just don't blame me if you sleep with the lights on.
Oh, fuck! personnel need to get to their nearest evacuation point. Don't you all get too excited now. You'll all be back at work in 15 minutes once I get all this nonsense straightened out.
Fucking bastard.
Oh, come on. Get to the other one.
You ever play a game so emotionally devastating that you just sit there staring at the credits, questioning your entire existence? That's Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. This game is not here to hold your hand. It throws you into the mind of Senua, a Celtic warrior suffering from psychosis, and let me tell you, the game makes damn sure you feel every bit of her struggle. The sound design, unmatched. Put on headphones and you'll hear voices whispering, mocking, guiding, and doubting you. It's unsettling, intense, and one of the most immersive storytelling techniques in gaming. The combat, brutal. The puzzles, clever but haunting. The story, a heart-wrenching journey through grief, trauma, and madness. Playing Hellblade isn't just gaming, it's an experience. If you want something that hits you right in the soul while looking absolutely stunning, play this game. Just maybe have some tissues ready.
She did it. She did it. She did it. Something is different. Can you see?
It's funny. We all want to see behind the veil, don't we? But once we do, we mostly just close our eyes again and pretend what we saw was never really there.
What's worse than a medieval war? A medieval war plus millions of plague-ridden rats that will devour you alive. In A Plague Tale: Innocence, you play as Amicia, a teenage girl trying to protect her little brother Hugo, while everything around them goes horribly, horribly wrong. And by horribly wrong, I mean soldiers trying to kill you, the Inquisition hunting you, and literal rivers of rats ready to turn you into medieval sushi. The game is a mix of stealth, survival, and heart-wrenching storytelling. You're not some badass warrior, you're just a girl with a slingshot, desperately trying to keep you and your brother alive while dodging horrifying rat tsunamis. And the rats? Oh, they're not just there for decoration. They react to light, swarm in massive hordes, and will instantly eat anything in their way. There's something deeply unsettling about watching an entire group of enemies get devoured in a matter of seconds while you barely survive by standing under a tiny torch. If you love stealth games with gripping narratives and disturbingly creative rat physics, A Plague Tale: Innocence is a masterpiece. Just don't play it if you have a phobia of small, fast-moving creatures.
Come on.
We're getting closer to the way out.
All right, let's be real. We all wanted this game the moment we saw it. You play as a cat. A small, fluffy, adorable, highly intelligent cat wandering a futuristic cyber city, solving puzzles, knocking things off ledges, and, most importantly, pressing a dedicated meow button. But here's the thing. Stray isn't just a gimmick. It's a beautifully crafted game with a genuinely emotional story. The city is stunning, the world building is top-notch, and yes, while it's fun to scratch furniture and push bottles off shelves, you'll also find yourself deeply invested in this little feline's journey. And let's not forget your robotic companion B12, a tiny drone that helps translate, hack doors, and provides some of the game's best dialogue. Their relationship with the cat? Surprisingly heartwarming. Plus, let's be honest, playing as a cat just makes everything better. Climbing ledges, adorable. Running from killer robots, terrifying, but still adorable. Sneaking past security, 10x better when you do it as a cat. If you love atmospheric adventures, cyberpunk settings, and animals doing cool things, Stray is a must-play. You ever play a game and think, man, I wish I could just glide across an entire desert at 100 miles per hour like some kind of supernatural sand surfer? Well, Atlas Fallen makes that dream come true. This game takes place in a massive, ruined fantasy world where everything wants to kill you. But instead of walking around like a peasant, you get a magic gauntlet that lets you glide across sand dunes at breakneck speeds. And let me tell you, it is the most satisfying movement mechanic ever. The combat? Absolutely insane. You're not just swinging swords, you're summoning massive weapons out of thin air, defying gravity, and smacking enemies so hard they probably regret existing. The bosses? Huge. The customization? Deep. The world? Gorgeous and full of secrets. And unlike most open world games that give you a horse or some slow travel method, Atlas Fallen just lets you yeet yourself across the sand like a magical pro skater. If you love fast-paced action, giant monsters, and movement that feels ridiculously good, Atlas Fallen is a hidden gem. Imagine being a badass ghost hunter. Now imagine that your partner is a ghost. Oh, and also they're your dead lover, and every second you spend together is pure emotional agony. Yeah, welcome to Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden, where the combat is cool, the story is gripping, and the heartbreak is relentless. You play as Red, a seasoned banisher who exorcises spirits, and your ghostly girlfriend Antea, who is very much not okay with being dead. Together, you investigate a haunted settlement, solving mysteries, making brutal moral choices, and deciding whether you'll help spirits move on or steal their power like some kind of supernatural jerk. The game mixes intense combat, deep storytelling, and gut-wrenching decisions that will have you questioning your own morality. Will you sacrifice innocent lives to bring Antea back? Or will you do the right thing and, not doom an entire village for love? If you like ghost stories, emotional torment, and combat that makes you feel like a supernatural John Wick, Banishers is a must-play.
It's on you.
You thought this was going to be a cute Nordic fairy tale? Nope. Bramble. The Mountain King is here to destroy your soul with twisted folklore, terrifying monsters, and moments that will make you want to delete the game and go outside for a walk. You play as Ola, a little boy who sets out to save his sister after she's kidnapped by a creepy troll. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. This game takes inspiration from dark Scandinavian myths, meaning every new area introduces something more horrifying than the last. One moment, you're walking through a beautiful forest, and the next, you're being hunted by a grotesque, bloodthirsty creature straight out of a nightmare. The enemies in this game? Horrifying. The music? Ethereal and haunting. The story? Beautifully tragic. And the best part? The game looks like a dream, if that dream involved watching horrifying creatures rip apart everything in their path. If you like fairy tales with a side of absolute trauma, Bramble is waiting to ruin your day. You know those games where you just turn your brain off and go absolutely berserk? Bright Memory. Infinite is that, but cranked up to 1000%. This game was literally made by one guy, and it still manages to be one of the most insane FPS meets hack and slash hybrids you'll ever play. You're a super soldier with guns, a sword, and a grappling hook, and you use all of them at the same time to slice, shoot, and slam enemies into oblivion. The combat? Faster than a caffeine-fueled speedrunner. You can juggle enemies with bullets, launch them into the air, then dash forward and slice them in half before they even hit the ground. It's like Doom, Devil May Cry, and Titanfall had a ridiculously overpowered baby. The story? Look, let's be real. You're not here for the story. Something about ancient relics, time warps, and a conspiracy, but honestly, it's just an excuse to shoot things in the most stylish way possible. If you love ridiculously fast combat, looking cool as hell, and games that don't waste time on boring nonsense, Bright Memory, Infinite is your dream come true.
Shelly, come on. What happened?
Director 10, read me.
Imagine if Grand Theft Auto and Payday had a weird love child and then decided to fill it with more 80s action movie stars than a VHS rental store. That's crime boss Rockay City. You play as Travis Baker, voiced by Michael Madsen, a rising crime lord trying to take over Rockay City while fending off rival gangs, corrupt cops, and your own terrible decision-making skills. The game lets you plan heists, recruit crew members, and manage your empire, all while being as reckless as humanly possible. But the real magic? The cast. This game straight up drags in Hollywood legends like Chuck Norris, Danny Trejo, Kim Basinger, and freaking Vanilla Ice. Yes, Vanilla Ice. The result? A cheesy, over-the-top crime drama that feels like someone time-traveled to 1992, stole every action movie script, and mashed them into one game. The gameplay is a mix of FPS, combat, strategy, and why the hell did I just do that moments. If you love heist games, 80s action vibes, and absolute chaos, Crime Boss Rockay City is your jam.
More rounds! They got you! That's it, we hold here! Got one down. Yeah. Get up.
Okay, Nine Sols is one of those games that comes out of nowhere and completely wrecks you. Imagine Sekiro, Hollow Knight, and Cyberpunk all got mixed into one 2D action platformer. That's Nine Sols. You play as Yi, a vengeful warrior fighting to take down the Nine Sols, godlike beings who are hoarding insane power. And to do that, you parry everything. This game is built around precision parrying, meaning if you suck at timing, prepare to suffer. Enemies hit like trucks, bosses have multiple phases, and every fight feels like an intense duel where one mistake can cost you everything. But here's the kicker. The story? Actually incredible. It blends ancient Eastern mythology with sci-fi, throwing you into a world that's as beautiful as it is tragic. And the hand-drawn art? Absolutely stunning. This is the kind of game that rewards patience, skill, and an unhealthy addiction to difficult games. If you love challenging combat, deep world building, and getting destroyed over and over until you get gud, Nine Sols is a masterpiece. You ever play Dark Souls and think, man, this would be way better with guns and a lot more explosions? Well, congrats, you just described Remnant 2. This game takes the brutal difficulty and unforgiving bosses of a Soulslike and throws in randomly generated worlds, co-op mayhem, and some of the wildest enemy designs you've ever seen. 1 minute, you're fighting interdimensional tree demons, and the next, you're getting wrecked by an eldritch horror that looks like it crawled straight out of your sleep paralysis dreams. And just when you think you've seen it all, the game randomly changes things up, meaning no two playthroughs are the same. The gunplay? Satisfying as hell. The boss fights? Absolutely punishing. The loot system? Pure dopamine. If you like co-op games that will test your friendships, insane world building, and gameplay that makes you scream at your monitor, Remnant 2 is a must-play.
Glad that's over. All right, come and get some.
What if I told you there's a game where you grind across neon landscapes, fight cosmic horrors, and look ridiculously cool while doing it? That's Solar Ash, a game that's basically Jet Set Radio and Shadow of the Colossus had a super stylish baby. You play as Rey, a void runner on a mission to stop a black hole from devouring her world. But instead of slow, methodical movement, this game is all about speed and momentum. You skate, dash, and grapple across stunning, dreamlike environments, chaining together slick acrobatics like a cosmic Tony Hawk. And the bosses? They're freaking massive. You don't just fight them, you climb and race across their bodies, trying to destroy weak points before they swat you out of existence. The result? A game that's as much a speedrunning dream as it is an emotional gut punch. If you love gorgeous visuals, fluid movement, and cosmic existential dread, Solar Ash is calling your name.
Wonder what's on the other side.
If you've ever thought, you know what detective games need? More cosmic horror and absolute psychological breakdowns, then The Sinking City is your dream, or nightmare, come true. You play as Charles Reed, a private investigator sent to a flooded Lovecraftian town where things have gone way past weird and straight into tentacle-fueled insanity. The people, losing their minds. The monsters, horrifying. Your mental stability, hanging by a thread. Instead of hand-holding you through the mystery, this game forces you to actually investigate. You gather clues, interview suspects, and piece together cases on your own. But be careful, because the more you uncover, the more the eldritch horrors start messing with your mind. The combat is clunky, sure, but that just adds to the feeling of being an outmatched human in a world of incomprehensible nightmares. If you love detective stories, Lovecraftian horror, and questioning your own sanity, The Sinking City is a must-play.
Stop it.
What happens when you take the retro-futuristic weirdness of Bioshock, add in over-the-top Soviet aesthetics, and mix it all together with some of the freakiest robot designs ever? You get Atomic Heart. You play as Major Nakaev, a Soviet soldier with a robotic AI glove that can electrocute enemies, hack systems, and do weird telekinesis stuff. Your mission? Survive a utopian facility gone horribly wrong, where the robots have stopped taking orders and started turning humans into fine red mist. The combat? Absolute chaos. You've got guns, melee weapons, crazy elemental powers, and some of the most terrifying robot enemies ever designed. And the world? Gorgeous but deeply unsettling, like if Disneyland was run by Soviet-era mad scientists. Oh, and did I mention the ballerina robots? Yeah, those will haunt your dreams. If you love insane combat, bizarre storytelling, and a game that constantly makes you say, "What the hell did I just see?" Atomic Heart is an experience you won't forget. What if a Pixar movie had combat that actually kicked your ass? That's Kena Bridge of Spirits, a game that looks like a heartwarming animated film but will absolutely humble you in battle. You play as Kena, a spirit guide helping lost souls move on while fighting corrupted monsters and massive boss battles. You've got a magical staff that transforms into a bow, adorable little rot creatures that help in combat, and a world that's so beautiful it hurts. But don't be fooled by the cute visuals. This game's combat is no joke. It's tight, challenging, and rewards precise timing, making it feel like a softer, more accessible version of a Soulslike. And the story? Heartfelt and emotional. You'll go from smiling at the cute rot creatures to wiping away tears as you help tragic spirits find peace. If you love stunning visuals, heartfelt stories, and gameplay that's as rewarding as it is punishing, Kena is one of the best AA games ever made. And that's it, folks. 20 AA masterpieces that every gamer should experience. We've covered everything from ninja robots to cosmic horror, crime-filled chaos, and heartbreaking emotional journeys. If you've made it this far, you're officially a connoisseur of underrated gaming greatness. Which of these games are you most excited to play? Did I miss any hidden gems? Let me know in the comments. And of course, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss more deep dives into the best games out there.